Beast of Gevaudan feared no sword and feared no gun, sent from heaven, the seventh of creatures. Hello and welcome to the first official video in a series I am very excited to call The Mythological and Historical Accuracy of MTV's Teen Wolf. Yep! Where I'll be putting my expertise and my critical thinking skills to good use to analyse and evaluate the historical accuracy of MTV's Teen Wolf. Just exactly what I just said. Teen Wolf is possibly my favourite telly programme of all time, so I'm very excited to delve deeper into the actual historical fact behind some of its lore. Technically, the first video in this series is the Lindoman video that I did yonks ago. Unofficially though, because that video kind of inspired this whole messy train wreck of a train of thought. But feel free to check that one out afterwards if you'd like. That being said, here's your massive spoiler warning for Teen Wolf, specifically Teen Wolf Season 5. Heed the call, here's your warning now, don't come crying to me about it, but also you have had 11 years to catch up, so you've got no excuse really. Our plan of action for today is thus. I will first introduce you to Bete Du Gevaudan from the eyes of the Teen Wolf creators, how it's portrayed in Teen Wolf. Then we shall look at the actual real-life Beast of Gevaudan as portrayed by historical fact. Then we will do a classic compare, contrast, analyse, evaluate, discuss all those good things and see what's different, what's been changed, how much is actually accurate, is there any accuracy behind it? We'll take a whole look at the whole lot and discuss our findings. All the copyright for any clips from Teen Wolf and all that is obviously owned by Teen Wolf, MTV, Jeff Davis, whoever. I obviously don't own the intellectual right to Teen Wolf. I'm just using it for a reactive and critical review, trying to teach whilst using my favourite programme as the backbone to then launch further into the educational history behind it. So please don't shout at me. I don't want any bother, please. I'm just trying to have fun. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell if you want. Cheers, thanks, ta. Anyway, let's dive in now and discuss the Beast of Gevaudan according to Teen Wolf. The Beast of Gevaudan comes into Teen Wolf in Season 5. Now, if you've not seen Teen Wolf, I beg you, please just bear with me for the next wee bit, right? Because what I'm about to explain is going to sound so wild. I'm going to sound like a madwoman for the next 5 minutes of your time. So we start with these guys called the Dread Doctors. A troupe of para-scientists who are obsessed with turning teenagers into semi-supernatural creatures in an attempt to resurrect the Beast of Gevaudan. See what I mean? Madness. In the Teen Wolf universe, long story short, Bete is a very old werewolf and serial killer with direct ties to the Argent family, a long-established, powerful, wealthy, aristocratic family of werewolf hunters. But yet somehow...
in less than a year, this great family is decimated by a teenage boy.
The first time we actually lay eyes on Bete in the flesh is Season 5B, Episode 12, entitled Damnatio Memoriae, which is a separate phenomenon I'm making a whole other video about at a later date. Don't worry, it's not important for today, it won't be on the test. Too long didn't read. Damnatio Memoriae basically means a person was erased from history. What's striking here is the beast looks not like a wolf. Even in Teen Wolf terms, this thing is a beast! And they've had some terrifying lichens in their time. A little bit of Teen Wolf lore for you here. The more beastly one behaves, the more beastly their physical wolf form becomes. Hence why Scott and his pack tend to look a lot more human-animal hybridy. And Bete is the biggest beast that ever did beast around Beacon Hills.
The lore, guys! The lore! The lore! Ring the lore alarms! The lore!
The last thing I want to do is give you an episode-by-episode, scene-by-scene rundown. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'll try and summarise the key bits and just go through it in somewhat chronological order. Because we do actually get a time travel episode. Well, no, it's not time travel. It's more, we go back in time for a day. We go back in time to 1764. Obviously, the beast is a werewolf in Teen Wolf, if you haven't gathered that already. The man underneath being Sebastian Valet. Sebastian became a werewolf by drinking water out of the paw print of a wolf under the light of the full moon. So he wasn't bitten, scratched, anything like that. It's just having a wee drink. And to kind of explain our record of us physically real people here in the real world, to explain our record of just having the beast survive. We know about the beast because the man behind it, Sebastian Vallet, suffered damnatio memoriae. So we actually start, and him and his pal Marcel are fighting a war in America, and then they come back to the French province of Gevaudan in France and proceeded to terrorise the people of Gevaudan, man, woman and child. But Sebastian was once a human, and he had a human sister called Marie-Jeanne Vallet. Marie-Jeanne happens to be the best hunter in the entire village, town, the whole country of France. I don't know, but she's the best at what she does. And she heeds the call to go and hunt and kill the beast, who she doesn't know is her brother yet. This is basically the foundation story of the Argent family as a family of hunters. By the way, that's how they tie it into the story. With Crystal Reed playing Marie-Jeanne Vallet, who is the ancestor of her now deceased character, Alison Argent. Anyways, then there's a whole scene in the town tavern where the villagers are discussing the beast. What caught my eye here was somebody's popping up wanted posters, hunting posters and all that, and they use actual drawings of the beast of Gevaudan from the real time period, which I thought was really interesting because they could have got people to draw a version of the beast that looks more like the beast in the programme rather than the real life beast, if that makes sense. Just to match up the aesthetics, but they actually used the real drawings, which I really appreciated. A couple old geezers are in the tavern as well, and they're discussing what the beast actually looked like. They say it killed for sport, targeting the heads and necks of its victims, sometimes decapitating them, as was the nature of the real beast. As for the way the beast looked, they describe it as thus.
Some say it is part hyena, part wolf, it has red fur, black fur, cloven hooves, a stripe down its back.
All of these are descriptors from the real eyewitness testimonies, from the real attacks, from the real beast of Gevaudan. But we'll properly delve even further into those descriptors a little bit later on. Anyways, after many hunting parties and many people dying, Marie-Jeanne finally clicks that her brother is the beast, and the beast is a werewolf, not a normal wolf. Surprise, surprise. Because his pal Marcel tried to cover for him when she poisoned all the guys. Well, she never poisoned them. The drink that she made would only poison the werewolf, and Marcel, who was not a werewolf, tried to take the fall for her brother, who then had a whitey because he had drank the poison. And then she hunts her brothers for the next 3 years, which sets the time frame from 1764 to 1767, which are the exact dates of the real attacks. So they've actually lined it up perfectly within the same 3 years. The final fight ensues, and she manages to spear her brother with a pike. A pike of not ordinary steel.
No ordinary steel.
The steel for the pike is made of steel, for one, but it's also been mixed with wolfsbane, mountain ash, her familial blood, and it was forged under the light of the full moon. So she spears him and boom, the beast is dead. They even built this statue in France to commemorate Teen Wolf Season 5B. I'm only joking, but clearly the Teen Wolf creators took inspiration from this statue for the fight. As he's dying, Marie-Jeanne tells Sebastian that she's going to damnatio memoriae him, she's going to burn all of his stuff, strike his name, remove all his properties and all that, so only the beast is remembered but not the man. The icing on the cake to that, she even goes as far as to change her own name. She gets married to a druid who helped her forge the steel pike. His name was Henry Argent, so she becomes Marie-Jeanne Argent, and thus the Argent hunting family is born. Jumping back into the Teen Wolf present now, the Dread Doctors are successful in their attempt to resurrect the beast. Obviously, otherwise the story's not going to go anywhere, is it? They get what they want, which is transformation without frequency, meaning the beast has remembered his true name of Sebastian Vallet. They no longer need to use their electromagnetic frequencies to bring on the change within the teenager they were experimenting on to bring him back. Does that make any sense?
Transformation without frequency.
The rest is purely supernatural entertainment. I highly encourage you to go and watch at least the end if you're curious, because if I try and sit here and tell you it all now, you will have me locked up. I will sound absolutely insane. You need to just watch it for yourself and figure it out, right? The rest is just not relevant to our discussion because it's not anything to do with the real beast. It's all, like I say, supernatural entertainment, so not relevant, leave it out, thank you. What do we have to say for the real beast according to history itself? Let's take a wee minute's breather here, because I understand that what I've just spewed upon you probably sounds completely insane, but a lot of it is surprisingly set in truth. So let's go back in time and look at the real Beast of Gevaudan. Hey yo! The beast ravaged the French province of Gevaudan throughout the years 1764 to 1767, when it killed around 100 people, decapitating a lot of them and injured hundreds more. But it didn't tend to eat them, it was more killing for sport. Are you seeing some similarities already? The first recorded fatality at the Maw of the Beast was on the 30th of June 1764, when the beast killed 14-year-old Jean Boulet. But she wasn't the first attack, she was just the first fatality. Apparently the beast attacked another girl just prior to this, but she managed to escape because the cattle that she was tending to protected her.
Hey, huh?
The longer these attacks went on, the more attention they gathered from all over France, to the point where the king got involved. King Louis XV actually offered bounties and sent out his own hunters to try and kill the beast, but none were successful. On January 12, 1765, the beast attacked young Jacques Portefeuille. I'm so sorry for my pronunciation. He was only 10 years old when he was attacked, but his friends jumped in and saved him and managed to scare the beast off with sticks. The children were actually rewarded by the king, and Jacques Portefeuille himself got an education paid for by the crown. So far, we're dealing with a lone wolf, an omega, if you will, who is this fearsome beast terrorising the land, but is scared of cattle and wee boys with sticks. A few months later, on the 11th of August 1765, the beast attacked 20-year-old Marie-Jeanne Vallée. Does that name sound familiar? She was attacked while crossing the river Desches, sorry if that's not how you say it, along with her sister as well, and she managed to fend the beast off with a pike. Unlike in Teen Wolf, Marie-Jeanne didn't actually manage to kill the beast. But from then on, after this attack, when the beast fled, she was known as the Maiden or the Amazon of Gevaudan. Amazon is in the Greek Amazons, who are warrior women. Really cool. I'll do another video on them another time. Later on in the year, in September of 1765, a large wolf was shot by Francois Antoine. Francois was actually a gun bearer of the king, who shot this wolf along with his nephew's help. The pair were rewarded, and the corpse of this wolf was stuffed and gifted to the king for the royal court, because they thought they had killed the beast. But the attacks resumed later on that year in December. It's giving that scene in Jaws where they catch a tiger shark and they're so adamant that this is the shark that's been killing people, but the bite rate is completely wrong.
Got a deep throat, Pratt.
Yeah, but what kind? What kind of shark?
It's a tiger shark.
A what?
Even more like Jaws, the king just ignored the second wave of attacks. He was like, nope, this isn't happening, we've got the beast, the beaches will stay open for the 4th of July, and he just insisted that Francois and his nephew were the ones that killed the beast and that it was dead and it was over and done with. Teen Wolf's my favourite telly programme, but can you guess what my favourite film is?
You yell shark, we've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
And then skipping fast forward into 1767, a hunter called Jean Chastel shot and killed a wolf. A necropsy of this beast actually revealed human remains inside. Therefore, the beast's reign of terror was finally over. Jean Chastel caught and killed the correct wolf. Now in Teen Wolf, the character Lydia actually remarks that in her research, Jean Chastel is the rightful killer of the beast. But once again, Gerard Argent has something snarky to reply with.
Who told you that? The internet? If that's your most reliable source of information, then you might as well go.
And to be honest, I can't help but feel like he's having a wee bit of a go at me with that. I do. So what actually was the Beast of Gevaudan? She's right here. The beast shot by Jean Chastel was described as like a wolf, yet not a wolf. And multiple eyewitnesses, including Marie-Jeanne Vallée, swore that it had non-wolf-like characteristics. Some of the descriptors used by the eyewitnesses include, you ready to read this list out with me? An unusually large wolf or dog, a red wolf, a wolf with a black stripe down its back, taloned feet, more horse or calf-like than wolf-like or dog-like, with a panther's tail. This list might sound familiar because this was actually used in Teen Wolf by the old men sat in the cavern. In the cavern? In the tavern! They weren't in a cavern. Christ. So what the hell actually was it then, if so many people have described it as so many non-wolf-ish things? Scholars and cryptozoologists as well have tried to create theories from these descriptors to work out exactly what the beast might have been. And I'm going to list the possible candidates for you now. Bear in mind though that the people who witnessed the beast or were attacked by the beast outright, they were witnessing it in low light conditions because it was attacking late night, early morning, so that also kind of plays a part into it. The beast was not attacking in broad daylight, so people's imagination in the dark, the fear that's amplified, the media at the time as well would have amplified all of these descriptions, so bear that in mind please when I'm reading out this list. You're so interested in the Beast of Gevaudan, aren't you? Yes. So, obviously a wolf, or a pack of wolves, right? Or a werewolf. That's an actual theory. Anyway, perhaps it was some sort of extinct creature that is extinct now, and it's thought to have been extinct for millions of years, but perhaps it was maybe a few still left kicking about in the 1700s. For example, a hyenodon, which matches the descriptors fairly well with a black stripe down its back, larger than your average wolf, etc, etc. Or even a dire wolf. It could have been an exotic pet that's escaped its enclosure, if rich people owned such animals like lions and hyenas and whatnot. If one escaped and started ravaging the villages, the regular townsfolk and the plebs, they wouldn't be familiar with this creature because it's not native to their land. They've never seen it before, so they're going to just describe it as something they are familiar with, like a wolf, but say, oh, it was a strange wolf, it was a larger wolf, it was a supernatural wolf sort of thing. Hyenas and lions are the two that have been put forward for this theory. Hyenas would match the description almost perfectly with the strange markings, the black stripe down its back. However, hyenas don't usually attack humans, especially not on their own. Lions more so fit the description. Teenage lions have black stripes down their backs. Teenage boy lions have stripes down their backs. And obviously lions attack humans all the time, so it makes sense for the bite pattern and whatnot. It could have been a human serial killer, which is obviously accounted for within Teen Wolf. Here's where it gets a wee bit silly though. People have suggested, and all these suggestions will be in the description by the way, you can go and read more about these if you so wish. It could have been a murderer with an attack dog. Fair. Or it could have been a murderer in a dog costume. Okay. Even better if it was a human and an attack dog. Armoured attack dogs were used in war and stuff at that sort of time. So if it was a large armoured attack dog, that would explain why it can survive being shot and being stabbed with a pike. But surely folk would look at it and go, oh, that's so-and-so's Doug. That's so-and-so over there in the trees waiting. Oh my god. Unless it's some random from 3 towns over that they don't know. I don't know, I wasn't there. It's not my theory, okay, but it's a theory nonetheless, so I have to tell you about it. So have a wee think, have a wee ponder, and you let me know what you think it is. Or do you have a different theory that could perhaps explain this strange set of events? Let me know if you support the human in a dog costume idea, is what I'm really saying. I'm not here to confirm nor deny any of these theories, I just want to present to you, okay? So you have all the information that you need to make up your own mind. Plus we can't ever prove it without physical DNA, skeletal evidence, or like the taxidermied corpse of the wolf would be nice, but we're never gonna have that. I'm assuming that existed at one point. They would have kept it as a prize, surely. We can clearly see where Jeff Davis has got inspiration for his version of the Beast of Gevaudan. Assuming it was Jeff Davis, he's in charge of the entire operation, so I'm pinning it on him. Bete was certainly unusual for what we know about wolves, absolutely. Plus the variety in its descriptions from its time and the research sort of since, plus that sort of abnormal behaviour, lends itself perfectly to Teen Wolf's supernatural narrative. Unfortunately, that does leave a little gap for pseudoscientists, not parascientists, pseudoscientists and cryptologists to sort of sidle in and get their sort of little 2 cents, but that's not, I'm not bashing anyone. Let's have a wee rundown of the exact similarities from both cases I have just presented to you there. Obviously the location of Gevaudan, although Teen Wolf does start off in French territory of North America and then comes back to Gevaudan. The time frame as well is absolutely spot on with the events in Teen Wolf and the real life events taking place within the years of 1764 to 1767. That lines up perfectly. There is also a tiny wee mention of the king's involvement in Teen Wolf, not to the same extent of what he actually was, but they do briefly mention in the tavern, the 2 wee old guys say, oh, I think the king's gonna get involved. That's about it.
Tell that to the king. I have word he may send a contingent of his own professional hunters.
They also kept the beast's behaviour in line, targeting the head and neck of the victims. There is one scene where the beast is carrying a decapitated head, but I'm not going to put that in because I think that's maybe a bit much for YouTube. I'm not sure. I'm going to leave that out. But there is reference to the beast beheading its victims. Very much killing for sport as well. There's multiple scenes with massive piles of bodies because the beast is just killing and not eating the people that it's killing. It's not doing anything with the bodies, it's just killing for fun. However, to add on to that, the real life Beast of Gevaudan targeted more women and children than it did anybody else. I think that was just sort of a perk of the job, a backhanded perk of the job, because it would go for people who were obviously tending the fields in the early hours of the morning, which tended to be women and younger children. Whereas in Teen Wolf, the beast just kills whoever dares cross its path. It does not care who it is, it just kills. Even the people who resurrected it, kills them. Outright, doesn't even care, not a jot. Again, the list of descriptors completely matches up with real life descriptors of the beast, which were in sworn testimonies from the eyewitnesses as well in court. In the imagery used as well, there's actual drawings of the Beast of Gevaudan that were not created by anybody involved with Teen Wolf. They have used the actual images that have been created either at the time or since then, before Teen Wolf was made, for the wanted posters, and I believe there's even one in Lydia's textbook, which I appreciate because the Teen Wolf's version of the Beast of Gevaudan looks obviously nothing like anything in real life ever. They could have easily hired an artist to draw a sort of older looking hand drawing of the beast that matches up with the Teen Wolf version, but they just went, no, we won't bother, we'll just use the original drawings that are already in public domain for public use anyway. It's absolutely fine. Save a couple of quid. Now moving on to the differences, let's start with a major one. Obviously we don't know what the Beast of Gevaudan looked like, but I am willing to put money on that it didn't look like that.
You're right there, pal, how's it going?
Gerard Argent, another member of the Argent family and descendant of Marie-Jeanne Argent, he describes the beast as oil black, like a shadow pretending to be real. He's awfully dramatic, is Gerard, which of course differs from the real life descriptions of the beast, but adds up perfectly for how Sebastian looks. This is described as like, oh, that's how the general public and the media portrayed the Beast of Gevaudan, but as the family who actually killed it, this is the description that is came down through family, tradition and storytelling and all that. So that's their real story versus the fake human story to explain it. And of course, Marie-Jeanne Vallée did not kill the beast, nor was it her brother. I don't even know if she had a brother. She might have done, I don't know. There probably was no Sebastian Vallée. Or was there? Jean Chastel is accredited to be the real killer of the beast. We're not here to discuss what the Beast of Gevaudan actually was, but obviously I've given you the list if you want to pop it in the comments what you think it was. I'm just here to facilitate discussion, right? I think perhaps Bete was a rogue wolf. Just like Jaws, it was a rogue shark. It was just an anomaly. I know I'm comparing to Jaws, which is not real, but it's just a comparison, alright?
This shark, swallow you whole.
Or the teenage lion escaping its enclosure also makes sense to me. Perhaps. But I'm not sure, and that's not what I'm trying to figure out today. I'm trying to figure out if Teen Wolf is truthful or not. But feel free to leave whatever theory you agree with in the comments, or if you have your own theory, I would love to hear it. But we're never going to find out, so it doesn't really matter.
Your opinion doesn't matter. We're never going to find out the truth.
In the instance of the Beast of Gevaudan, La Bete Du Gevaudan, I hereby pronounce Teen Wolf somewhat pleasantly historically accurate. Of course, bits have been changed to fit the supernatural narrative to make it entertaining and to fit the story, obviously. But the foundational history is still prevalent, it's still there. I'm genuinely pleasantly surprised at how much of it is actually accurate, especially considering that some people would say that the Teen Wolf writing kind of took a nosedive after season 3. Not me, but some people do think that. But also because some TV shows, and even Teen Wolf does it in some other instances, which will be discussed in further videos, they take the name of something from history, or they take a little aspect of something from history, and they completely flip it so that it doesn't match up with the real history anymore at all. They completely just bulldoze the past to create their own little thing using the same name, which I don't like. Hopefully throughout the rest of the series, other aspects of Teen Wolf will hold up to the same level as the Beast. Or will they? I don't know. We'll have to find that out together. What do you think the Beast was? Do you think the Teen Wolf creators did a good job with this one? As I agree. Do you agree with me? Have you even seen Teen Wolf? There's a question. I probably should have asked that at the start. Have you seen Teen Wolf? Let me know in the comments. Also, check out the bibliography, which will be in the description box below. I'll leave all the links, as much information as I can. Also some further reading if you're interested, like I always do. I hope you've learned something about the Bete Du Gevaudan, if you never heard about it before. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I shall see you all next Tuesday. Bye bye, troops.